Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is January 19th, 2026, and Barcelona are set to lose not one, but two more academy players. Also, we have an update in regards to Ter Stegen's loan to Girona. And finally, Bernal. What has he decided in regards to his future? We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Boo. We'll begin this video with the news that both Frankie de Jong and Hansi Flick were incredibly upset with the horrendous performance of one of the worst referees in all of Europe, Gil Manzano, who was of course in charge of Barcelona's match against Real Sociedad, and where once again he showed us how big of a clown he is. Now, of course, I'm not excusing Barcelona's defeat at the hands of Gil Manzano because I think Barcelona lost because we were simply unlucky. I did do the post-match live analysis. If you want to hear more of my thoughts about that defeat, make sure to check out the video on the channel. But anyways, Frankie de Jong made it very clearly that he was frustrated with Gil Manzano in a post-match interview when he stated the following: "You can't even talk to him. I don't understand it. I'm the captain and I can talk to the referee, but he looks at me as if he's above you. It's very frustrating. He can't behave like that. I tell him to keep an eye on the time because they took too long to take the kick. It's not even 10 seconds, and he gives me a card. I think it's crazy, but that's the way it is." Of course, Frankie de Jong expressing his frustration, not even being able to talk to the referees. And remember, they changed the rule, right? They said, hey, only the captains can speak to the referee. And here's Barcelona's captain talking to him. And what does he do? He shows them a yellow against the referee rules. But when you have other players like Vinicius Jr., when he's not the captain and he's just yelling at the ref, getting in his face, threatening the ref, insulting the ref, they don't even show him a yellow card. And he's not even supposed to be talking to the refs. And he's not talking to the refs, right? He's barking at the refs because he is, he just doesn't know how to behave. But here we have Frankie, who's an actual captain, a guy who is super calm. You've always seen him, how calm Frankie is when he talks to the refs, and he just shows them a yellow. Now, Hansi Flick was also upset at this clown and poor excuse of a referee called Gil Manzano, and this is what Flick had to say: "I know what the referee is like. Everyone has seen it. I do not want to spend energy on him. I had already read comments about the referee before the match. There are very good referees in La Liga, but we all know what he is like. Frankie is right in what he said. Frankie is right. He's always calm. He is the captain, and he wants to speak to the referee, and he cannot. We could not either with the fourth official. We have to accept it. It is not nice, but it is like this. We cannot change it. We do not have to spend energy on other things, only on improving. There's a lack of communication with this referee." So Flick also frustrated at the fact that you can't even speak to this clown, to this excuse of a referee, and I put it in quotation because honestly, a cone could ref a better match than Gil Manzano. Anyways, let's move on to the next bit of news. Because as you know by now, of course, Dro is set to leave Barcelona and join in PSG. And now it seems like another player will be leaving Barcelona. And it's no other than Andres Cuenca, the 18-year-old center back whose contract expired in the summer of 2026. So Barcelona's intention was to extend the contract of the Barcelona Academy player. But it looks like Andres Cuenca has decided to leave, and he will be joining the Serie A club managed by Cesc Fabregas' Como. Now, Andres Cuenca had offers from both Como and from AC Milan, and he decided that he was going to join Como. Of course, the negotiations went pretty smoothly, given that Como and Barcelona have a good relationship now that Cesc Fabregas is their manager. Of course, Cesc Fabregas is the one who requested the signing of Andres Cuenca because he believes that Cuenca has the right profile and believes he will fit in Cuomo's style of play. But Cesc Fabregas does believe that Cuenca still needs to improve some parts of his game. So it's reported that once Como finalizes the signing of Cuenca, which should be in the next few days, they are going to loan him out until the remainder of the season so he can continue growing and developing. And next season, he can play for Como. So it looks like another player slips away from Barcelona, but that is not all, because Barcelona are set to lose yet another center back. This one that plays for Barca Athletic, and it's no other than Mamadou Mbacke. Now, Mamadou Mbacke is a 23-year-old center back that Barcelona signed. I think it was 2 seasons ago, if I'm not mistaken. He played over 60 matches for Barca Athletic, but never really broke into the first team. And in fact, he has been seeing less and less minutes given to his reduced performance. And now he will be leaving Barcelona and signing for the MLS team, St. Louis City. Now, of course, Mamadou Mbacke does have experience in the MLS because Barcelona did sign him from LAFC. So it looks like Mbacke will be returning to the MLS, and this one will not be as big of a loss. In fact, it was Barcelona that were looking to offload Mamadou Mbacke, given that he hasn't been getting any minutes because of his reduced performance. And if he hasn't broken into the first team by now, well, it's unlikely it will happen. Now, on to the next bit of news, because, of course, there's another player that is set to leave. But this one, of course, is something that the club actually wants, just like Mamadou Mbacke. And, of course, it's no other than Barcelona's captain, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, because as I reported in a previous video, Ter Stegen is set to join Girona on loan. Of course, Ter Stegen needs minutes to start in a 2026 World Cup for Germany. You know, both Nagelsmann and the sporting director of the German national team made it very clear that unless Ter Stegen gets minutes, he will not get the start for Germany, since this will be Ter Stegen's first chance at starting for Germany in a World Cup since the retirement of Neuer. Ter Stegen understood that he needed to leave to get more minutes, given that Hansi Flick made it very clear that it was Joan Garcia that was going to be his number one. And of course, after Joan Garcia also started in the Copa del Rey, Ter Stegen figured, hey, I'm not going to get any minutes here. So Ter Stegen has now decided to join Girona on loan for the remainder of the season. Now, of course, I've been asked, Mo, hey, what's going on with the loan? Is he leaving? Is he not leaving? Well, I'm here to tell you that, yes, the loan is in the final stages of negotiations. So Ter Stegen should be leaving to Girona in the next few days. And in fact, they're saying that Girona has already sent out invitations to Marc Ter Stegen's entourage to attend the upcoming match against Getafe at Montilivi, because, you know, players get free tickets for their family members, things like that. So Girona has already sent Ter Stegen's family members and friends tickets for the upcoming match against Getafe at Montilivi on January 26th. And they're even reporting that Mitchell, Girona's coach, has already called Ter Stegen to talk about the plan and to make him know that, hey, you are going to be starting for us. You're going to be an important part of the project, which is exactly what Ter Stegen needs. You know, he needs those minutes. Now, it's also been revealed that Ter Stegen rejected an offer from West Ham to go on loan to the Premier League because, as I've mentioned many times before on the channel, of course, Ter Stegen has gotten divorced from his wife. He's sharing custody of their children with her. His children live in Barcelona. So he rejected the West Ham approach because, of course, that would mean him moving to England and being away from his children. Now, let's end today's video with the news of one player who will not be leaving, since we talked about Cuenca, Mamadou Mbacke, Ter Stegen, Dro's leaving. I talked about it in the podcast about how Guille Fernandez might leave. So it's like, let's end this video with someone who will not be leaving. And, well, it's no other than Marc Bernal. Now, a few weeks ago, we talked about how Marc Bernal had been approached by Girona. You know, Girona were looking to take Marc Bernal on loan until the end of the season so he can get more minutes and he can continue growing and developing. And there was news about the club, leaving the door open for Marc Bernal to leave if he wanted to. But again, this would have been on loan. Barcelona are not looking to offload Marc Bernal on a permanent transfer. They would be absolutely crazy to do so given his potential. But now the news is that this door has closed, that Marc Bernal will not be leaving because, of course, Hansi Flick will not greenlight this operation. He is not willing to lose Marc Bernal for two reasons. On one hand, of course, Bernal did just come back from a very serious injury where he was out for an entire year. Barcelona have this specific plan for him to reincorporate him progressively, that way not to risk him getting injured. Also, the other reason is that Flick is not looking to lose squad depth. So Flick has said absolutely not. Absolutely not. Bernal is not leaving. So it looks like this door will be closing and Bernal will be staying until the end of the season, which, of course, I believe it's the right decision because even though Girona, he could have gotten more minutes so he can grow and develop, they're not going to take care of him as good as Barcelona will, since Barcelona are the ones who have been dealing with Bernal's injury since day one. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I did do the podcast earlier today. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, be scarce.